It was really nice to receive. I think, you know, from getting to know yourself, you probably know it's a bit of an awkward award to receive. I think football awards are a lot easier to receive. I think the reason, you know, I got on board with the Baton of Hope and do some other work as well with Children's Hospice, Bluebell Wood, it's not to win awards, but I think it's important to make peace with it. It raises more awareness about the causes that mean a lot to me, and obviously this one means a lot to me. So yeah, it's nice to be able to get the word out about things.
Some footballers do a fair amount of community work. Few, I think, you know, as much as you do. Why do you do it?
I think along my career there's always been something that's kind of pulled me in. Worked with Bluebell after visiting the hospice just really sucked me in and just wanted to help. And then I have to put a lot of it on my mum really. My mum volunteered a lot growing up and just kind of always instilled that within me, and then getting older now, having my own kids, I just feel a bit more responsibility as a footballer. We're put on a bit of a pedestal, rightly or wrongly, but I think we can make a really big difference with a short amount of time and effort. So I just feel a bit of a responsibility to do it. So I guess that's why.
Tell me about your interest with Baton of Hope and how that came about and how it relates to your own background.
Yeah, so I attended a talk club event with yourself. I think within 5 minutes, you know, I heard your story, losing your son Ross, and then, you know, sharing mine, that just so happened 2 men who had lost people to suicide. I lost both my granddads, Hywel and Tom, to suicide when I was younger. And then, you know, we spoke to me and you asked me about attending the Baton of Hope, this idea, and I couldn't really say no. I felt it was something that was probably the hardest decision I've made with community work, I think, or with work, putting myself out there, because it was really personal and it meant a lot to me and my family, and it was something that I wasn't sure I wanted to open up, I think, to start with. But actually I realised that, do you know what, I probably needed it a little bit as well. There was maybe a bit of grief still there, a bit of maybe emotional trauma still there that I didn't think was, to be honest with you. And then it grew legs, and obviously carrying the baton, starting it off in Sheffield, was really emotional, and the whole day was amazing really, to spend time with people who've been through similar things, and we all had this same shared hope really, which was to not be there and to try and stop as many families as we can not to be in that situation. You know, we mourn the ones we've lost and we think about the amazing times we had with them, but we all wish that we weren't there, and that's what I hope the future can hold.
Can I ask you what effect it had on your family? Because you were a kid and grew up with this. When did it sort of really start to hit home what had happened within your family?
For me, the best way to describe it is like a bomb goes off in the family. So many things are questioned. You know, it's just completely different to a natural death. It really does affect everybody, and everybody questions, you know, what could I have done? Could I have said anything? Could I have changed anything? There's so many people out there, and men especially, suffering with mental health issues. Neither of my grandparents really spoke about it, definitely not Hywel. But yeah, the ongoing effect that has, I think it's something that, you know yourself. It affected my mum massively. As a kid, I was a teenager, I understood what had happened, but probably didn't understand why or how you could go about that. And I think I maybe buried some stuff. I think the family spoke a lot with the Baton of Hope coming up and with it being televised, and obviously I warned my mum and dad I'm potentially speaking about it. How do you feel? Is it okay? And they were really supportive of me. And we looked back and realised that it was a really, really hard time. And my mum and dad, I think, carried a lot of guilt maybe that it affected our childhood. But they did amazingly. They protected us. They were honest also. And then growing into an adult, it's made me more aware of mental health as a whole, but also suicide prevention. And now, having met you, I really want to be involved, because I think I can make a difference, because I've lived it and I've felt what effect it has on families. What I want to do is take some tiny positives from such an awful situation and try and prevent other people from suicide, because at the end of the day I don't want families to go through what my family went through, because I know how awful it is.
What do you think is the important thing as far as men are concerned? Because as we know, you know, 75% of the people who do take their lives are men, and in your family's case it was 2 men. Mm-hmm. You know, what do we need to do as men What do we need to change? What's your view?
I think the really obvious one is, you know, the name on the tin of your talk club. We do need to talk as men. I think we always bury things. I think it goes back to that kind of old school, you know, I'm the man of the house, I better not share my problems with people. I know that was certainly the case for my granddads, especially Hywel, was that he was the, you know, the man of the house and made sure the bills were paid. And, you know, an old-fashioned relationship maybe with my grandma, she did the cooking and the cleaning and he did the man's jobs, which, you know, times moved on from that. But I think it wouldn't have crossed his mind to open up, to share, and we only wish he had, because obviously there is support there needs to be more support, but men need to be brave. It's actually braver to speak than to hide it in yourself. You think you're being brave keeping it to yourself, you're not. The brave thing to do is to speak to people and, you know, open up and be a little bit more vulnerable, I guess.
You're coming along to the conference. I think you've agreed to it.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
You are now.
I have, yeah. You've said it now.
You know, how important do you see that? How much will it sort of mean for you to be there and to be able to speak to people?
It's really important. I think leading on from, you know, the day of the Baton of Hope for me, which was in Sheffield. I know you obviously followed the Baton all around the country. For me, it was the day in Sheffield. I didn't want that to be like a fleeting visit with the charity or with yourself, just to, you know, appear and carry it and then move on. It's something that, like I've said, it means a hell of a lot to me. So if I can help, and I think I am in a position as a young man who, you know, has a following of male and female football fans, it's a responsibility, like I said before, that maybe my voice might carry a little bit further. If it does, then I feel that it's my duty to do that. And if I can save somebody's family going through what ours went through, one is worth every bit of, you know, tough emotional things for me, or, you know, speaking at the conference, attending the conference. So I think it's really important, like the charity is doing now, to take the next step. And I know now it's about, you know, prevention, which is what we all want.
In terms of anybody who might be interested in the conference, whether it's just somebody, you know, like you or I, who've lost somebody to suicide, or a charity or a business owner, what would you say to them? Why should people be interested in this?
Well, I think it's something that everybody has a responsibility to have an impact on preventing suicide. You know, we spoke the other day about, I know my CPR training. A lot of people do in workplaces, they put on first aid CPR training so that if the worst happens, someone falls ill. But what do you do if somebody's mental health is that poor that, you know, they need help to prevent them from suicide? So it's something I want to take part in. But also from the day, the Baton of Hope day, I couldn't believe the stories and the shared experiences also. So anybody who has lost someone, or who you know, maybe has someone in their family or friends they're worried about, then come and attend, because I learned so much in that time just on the walk, let alone at the conference. I think the conference is a really important next step, and there's some really important and you know, I'm sure inspirational talkers on the day that we need to make it the forefront of our business really in suicide.